Hello, I'm Joshua Ross with Job and Joshua's History ofs and Reviews. I'm going to apologize ahead of time if the audio and the webcam don't match up. I've tried everything the last 4 days online with Logitech support and Blue Yeti support and OBS support, and none of it works, so I apologize ahead of time if it doesn't match up. So I'm just going to kind of like hide my mouth behind the microphone so you can't really tell as much. My thoughts on The Punisher for Netflix. I had really high hopes for it. I usually don't have high hopes for things anymore because I have very little faith in Hollywood, Bollywood, indie film companies and stuff like that anymore because they churn out the same kind of junk year after year. And I'm not saying that the people behind it, like the laymen that actually work on it, get the sets together and all that. I'm not saying that they're not putting their heart into it. They are, but it's the directors and the writers are just today. They've just really given up. They just want to give us the same BS over and over and over again. And I was really hyped for this. And when I told my cousin on Black Thursday my opinion of The Punisher on Netflix, he was very, very shocked. And he's like, dude, you were so hyped up for it. What happened? What went wrong with it? And I told him, I said, take a guess about what my favorite parts of the show were. And he said, well, I'm just going to guess the action. And I'm like, nope. And he's like, what? Really? And my cousin being Job, co-owner of this, like him and I are both co-owner 50-50 of this YouTube channel, but he's like, what? No way. I'm like, yeah, there really wasn't that much action is what I was telling him. And he said, well, then what was your favorite part of the series? And I said something along the lines of, well, I'll tell you in a little bit. And we went on about what was wrong with the action, how there really wasn't that much of it. It was mostly just people talking and going over the same stuff we heard about in Daredevil Season 2. And I was telling him, the Punisher from Daredevil Season 2, which is still played by Jon Bernthal for those of you that don't know, the Punisher in Daredevil Season 2 was absolutely amazing. That's a big issue that this series had, is that it did not have the same like writer and director. I believe it did not have the same writer and director, and the composer, the music for it was the Punisher in Daredevil Season 2, the music it fit so freaking well. His theme in Daredevil was absolutely amazing. The synthesizers and things like that. This one, it was really laid back, and it tried to be classic 1970s, 1980s, like subtle music, and with the ding 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 ding, and that works in some things, but it doesn't really work today. And there's only one track that actually caught my attention with The Punisher, and I don't even remember what scene it was because I was so out of touch with this show. I was so let down by it, but I kept it up to the end. I wanted to give it a fair chance. I didn't want to unfairly judge it and say, oh, the first 6 episodes are pretty bad. The rest of them will probably get better. I gotta, I have to stick through it to the end. And, it never ended up picking up for me. It was like Bates Motel, a really slow burning show where each episode slowly built on each other. And that worked for Bates Motel because it was telling the origin of Norman Bates and how he became who he became. And, well, obviously, anyway, to avoid spoilers, So, like, how this show was advertised versus what the product actually was were two completely different things. That is something that Hollywood is, in TV in general and movies, are guilty of. They advertise a movie as a love story, and then you go in, and most of the time it is a love story, but sometimes it's just a thrill-filled adventure full of action and very little love. Never happens with Nicholas Sparks movies. You know what you're getting into. So that's something good about Nicholas Sparks. But they advertise these things to be action packed and very highly dramatic, and they're not usually action packed. And that's like the horror films. Most horror films today are advertised as being scary, and they're really not that scary. The Punisher was advertised as, I'm gonna kill them all. Just complete chaos and mayhem. And when you actually watch it, it's like, oh my god, they are just taking their fucking time. Okay, fine. Oh, look, there's an action scene. Oh, what the hell's over already? It's over already? The most notable action scenes that actually lasted a while were the car chase, the gunfight, and was it the parking garage or the abandoned warehouse? Whatever the hell it was. I don't even remember. It was so damn boring. With Amber Rose Revas Madonna Hugh, whatever her name was. Loved her acting, but at the same time, anyway, that'll go on to another one. And the GoPro fight in the woods with Frank, and I believe it's Hunter or Ranger or something like that. Those ones were the most memorable. And I guess you could say the one with the tear gas. And then other than that, I don't remember the rest of them. Because I think those were actually almost all of them. It was given way too many episodes, and the writers were absolutely atrocious. Some of the things that they had John Berthold say, Frank Castle say, whatever, were very, in my opinion, unpunisher-like. You have a stark contrast. That's the issue. It's that in Daredevil Season 2, the Punisher, Frank, was all like, I'm going to kill everyone. And then you get the Punisher, his own spinoff show, and he doesn't really kill anyone. And the Daredevil got the Punisher right. He is supposed to punish. It's in his name, The Punisher. The TV the Netflix series, The Punisher itself, he didn't really punish anyone. And they went back to his goddamn family. It was done to death, but not in a bad way. In Daredevil, it was done to death. But like I said, not in a bad way. It actually made you feel for him. And they did the kind of origin story in the Netflix series, but we already know the origin story from the Daredevil series. You don't need to bring it up in the Netflix series. Maybe if someone he's never met says, oh, what happened to you? Well, my wife and kids died. That's okay. But to bring it up to people that already knew about it in the show, it's just, oh my god. And then the flashbacks of his wife and the weirdness of it and the dumb, old-sounding, old-fashioned music, it was just, oh my god. I was like, shit, we already know this from Daredevil. And the stuff you're adding to it just to pad out your 1 hour is absolutely stupid. Just, if you have to pad it out, leave it at 40 minutes. Because there were a lot of Punisher episodes that were 45, 48, 49, 50, 55. And most of them were 5 to 10 minutes of flashbacks of him seeing his wife and his kids. I'm not talking about the ones where they're at the carnival amusement park. I'm talking about where there's the black background, the one light aimed on all of them, or he's in the bedroom with her. It's just, okay, that's okay for the first 2 episodes to establish the character, maybe even the 3rd episode, but by the end of the series, you're still doing it. Oh my god. And like I said, they're bringing up his family again. All this stuff had to do with his family. He killed the blacksmith, which I believe the blacksmith, and was it Reyes, the attorney, the district general or whatever district attorney that Matt, Foggy, and Karen had to go up against when they were defending Frank in season 2 of Daredevil. I don't remember. I believe it was Reyes. Yeah, Reyes was her name. Don't remember her title. She died because of the blacksmith. And then Frank, in turn, in I believe the finale, or the episode before the finale of Season 2 of Daredevil, killed the blacksmith, a.k.a. Mr. Krabs, on trial, who made an appearance in The Punisher, which I appreciated very much. That is another thing that I will give it credit for, is I appreciate them bringing back Mr. Krabs, a.k.a. I don't remember, sorry, the ranks, it was way too much, and sometimes I'm just stupid. But yeah, he got killed. There's no need to retread that. There's no need to retread that. By the end of Daredevil Season 2, when he says, "See you around, Red," I thought that part of his story was gone. I don't expect them to just eliminate his family story from him. That is a part of him. That is something that's why he does what he does. But I was hoping that he would go out and like start helping other people take on people that are threatening their, like, good people that are having their families threatened, like being like a vigilante like Daredevil and actually helping people. But instead, no, it's him trying to help resolve something that was already resolved in Daredevil. They were just trying to, well, let's go the safe route. So some other, like, good things. I mentioned Mr. Krabs coming back during the war flashbacks. Other good things are the GoPro, fight in the woods with the SWAT team, the military, the rogues or whatever, with Bill's group. And another good thing was, God, what was it? Shit. I like the carousel scene in the finale. The same carousel, I assume, from Daredevil Season 2. That's what I like. And there was something else that was really, really good. Micro. The actor for Micro. Really amazing. The scenes where... oh, God, I can't do that. That's going to be another good one. But Micro did a great job. I don't know the guy from anything else, but he did an amazing job. He ended up being a great character for me. Going back to my cousin, I said that it'll be for later. Now it's coming back. I asked him, what do you think my favorite scenes were? And then he said the action ones, and I said no. And then we went to talk about something else, and then it got brought up again. I'm like, now this show had a lot of talking scenes between Frank, who was going under an alias as Pete, which I thought was awesome, and he talked to Micro's wife and children who didn't know that their dad was still alive, but Frank knew that Micro was still alive. And I'm like, what do you think I thought of those scenes? Because they were really extended. They had like 3 to 15 minute scenes of just Frank, Pete, and Micro's wife talking, and the kids and stuff like that, interactions with kids. So what did you think I thought about those scenes? He's like, well, based on the past, I would say you thought they were, and he like kind of told us said boring, and I'm like, nope, and he's like, what? I'm like, nope, those were my favorite part of the show, were Frank, were the Frank and Micro's family scenes. I thought those were absolutely amazing. I was like, oh my God, I am loving these scenes. I'm loving how you could feel the chemistry between the two of them, and then his children, Micro's children, looked up to Frank, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, oh no, it's going to go away. It's going to go away. It's going to go away. And then it would always cut off right when the stuff started getting really good. And I'm like, damn. And then it would come back again, and that became my only big reason to continue watching the show. Otherwise, hoping for it to get better. My main reason was praying to the Lord that they would have more scenes. Micro's family and Frank would have way more scenes. Oh my God, it was amazing. I love those scenes. I could rewatch them over and over again. And everyone else on review websites and even YouTube were like, oh my God, those scenes were so boring. They was just talking. No, those were the best scenes of the series. The only ones that will stick in my mind. The scene where they kissed. Frank kissed his Micro's wife. And the interaction with the son and the knife to him. And Micro going, no, Frank, don't. And Frank with Micro's daughter fixing the sink. It was just, and then the football scene with the son outside. And oh my God, it was just, those were the parts that I really liked. Oh, I can't say those were the only scenes I liked. Other scenes I liked were the very few and far between scenes with Frank and Deborah Ann Walls, Karen Page from Daredevil. But in the Punisher series, when they interacted in the Punisher series, those were some of my favorite scenes too. My second favorite scenes were those two together. And obviously it's in the background of this video, them talking in the Punisher. I really like that. They had chemistry since season 2 of Daredevil. Like, you could tell that she felt for him and he felt for her. And I was just waiting for him to say the cliche, and I'm kind of glad they didn't do it, but at the same time it would be one of those instances where I didn't care. I was waiting for her to say, well, why do you care about me so much? Why do you try to protect me so much? And I want him to say, like, as he's walking away, because you remind me of my wife, and then just walk away. because I really feel that the his motivation is that connection. She is a connection to a woman that is now out of his life, and God, it was just, I love those scenes. And a lot of people hate them together. A lot of people don't like Deborah Ann Woll's Karen Page. They don't like how she portrays her. They don't like how she looks. They don't like her character because her character apparently ruined stuff. I like her. I've always liked her. I've always liked her character. I've liked her acting in Daredevil. I don't know. I don't understand the hate for that, but I think she is a really, really great character. Another character that I liked, even in Daredevil, and he's not really in it that much, is, I wish I remembered the names, but the bald white guy with the glasses at Karen's newspaper journalism job, her boss, I believe. I liked him in Daredevil, and he did, like, this is one of those things where you can tell the directors and the writers changed, is that he felt like a different character in The Punisher. Because you're getting directed by different people, you're getting different people writing your lines, and so it's kind of hard to adapt to that, and it's hard when you're not in the show as much as the other characters, so you have to recover in your mind and say, okay, I need to get back into this mindset of this character. And I believe he's done other things, like other small things as well, since Daredevil Season 2. And maybe that's another issue, is that, like I said, he has to get back in character. But it also has to do with the directing and the writing. And the cinematography. And whereas in Daredevil Season 2, the office that they worked at was more blue tint and more dark. In The Punisher, it's more bright, and you get like a yellow tint. And it really, like, the color and stuff sets the mood as well. So that's another issue with switching crews. But yes, I do like the guy's acting, because as his scene carried on with Karen, it got better. So I liked it. So that's another good thing about this series. More detraction was that it's called The Punisher, but it focused mostly on Amber Rose Reva and Bill. So Frank was a B or even C character. He was like barely there. I'm like, what the hell? Amber Rose Reva's scenes taking up like 30 to 40 freaking minutes of the episode, and then we get 5 or 10 of Frank, or 15 if it's an extended episode, of Frank and Micro. And I'm like, oh my God. It's called The Punisher, not Amber Rose Reva's show. And like I said, that's not her fault. That's not her fault at all. And the plot line that they gave her were plot lines that we've seen over and over again in other stuff. See, again, with Hollywood being original, I know it's hard to be original because everything's been done. But I'm like, it's not called the Amber Rose Reva show. It's not called the Bill show. It is called The Punisher. Where the hell is he, and why isn't he punishing? So again, it's not their fault. It's not the Bill's actor's fault. It's not Amber Rose Reva's fault. It's not anyone else's fault. It is the writers. The pacing was so bad. We are here to see John Berthal and Karen Page, Deborah Ann Woll, and Micro. We are not here to see Amber Rose Reva's character as much, or Bill's character as much. And a lot of people are going to be PO'd that I said that, because a lot of people like Madani and Bill's characters and their storylines. I just thought it was too extended. It's okay if they have 20 minutes of Amber Rose Reva and 25 or 30 minutes of Bill, but not like all in a row. You have to splice it up better than they did, because they were just large clumps of them, instead of just being like Daredevil, where you get 4 minutes of a character, then go back to 10 minutes of Matt and Foggy and Karen, and then you get 4 minutes of another character. You know, they pace it a lot better. Daredevil's writers know who is the star, like who are the main 3 stars of the show. Main 4 if you count the Punisher in Season 2 of Daredevil. So those were my big issues. I have very little desire to go back and rewatch this series. I really do. I have very, very, very little will to ever rewatch The Punisher, minus except for the positivities that I mentioned, and I'll probably just skip through the episode and go right to those moments. So yeah, those are my thoughts, and it's freedom of speech in America, so if you disagree, don't be like, hey dude, you're a little shithead. F you and all that. I loved it. Well, that's good for you, you know. we all feel differently. We all think differently about Netflix series, TV shows, and movies and stuff. So those are just my thoughts. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it.